Well, it's been 125 days since Halloween Horror Nights has made their first and last haunted house announcement with Beetlejuice. But now Mr. Showtime himself is not alone anymore. Welcome back to the channel that takes you through the fog with a very exciting day for Halloween Horror Nights fans.
As most of you already know, we received a huge announcement with the arrival of the Netflix original, The Haunting of Hill House. I'm personally very excited for this announcement. We did kind of know this was coming, but I am super excited for it to officially be announced because this is probably one of the best horror TV shows that I have ever watched, and I'm super excited for how they're going to put it into a house. But before we discuss any further details about the house itself, let's watch the video that HHN released for this announcement.
Or you'll never leave. You're about to enter Hill House. It's coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Never go alone.
So Universal posted the announcement and also updated their website with this description of the house. It stands like a brooding creature waiting for its victims. Enter the decaying remains of an aging mansion that lives, even if all who dwell there are long dead. Step right into Netflix's supernatural masterpiece, The Haunting of Hill House.
Each unsettling room, each darkened hallway takes you deeper and deeper into your worst nightmares. Come face to face with the tall man, the bent-neck lady, the ghost in the basement, and more. And boozy! Enter the red room and you may find yourself spending all of eternity listening to the sound of your own screams.
Not only did Universal release their typical description of the house, but they also posted an entire blog post on their Twitter account with details about the house, including photos inside the house and of the facade. So consider this your official spoiler warning.
So as you can see, this is the facade of the house. That's going to be the front, and it looks like the entire mansion itself. So in our opinion, by looking at this has got to be like in a soundstage or at least a building that's big enough to be able to house a facade like this. Now, I've actually never seen the show. I've seen bits of Bly Manor, which is the second season, but I've actually never seen Haunting of Hill House 1 because I'm not the biggest horror fan. Surprise, but also I think it's really freaking scary, and by looking at this facade, I mean, just look at it. This facade is huge, it's intimidating, especially with the red windows and stuff, like they're lit up. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it.
Yeah, I have seen the show and I think this looks great. I love that they decided to have it kind of boarded up and dilapidated looking like the present day in the show instead of back in the past where it looks a little bit nicer. Definitely adds to that like creepy, eerie feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And it feels very intimidating. Like, it feels very big.
Yeah.
We are interested to see how big it actually is, but we do know that HHN is pretty famous for having like big facades.
Like amazing facades.
So we're super excited to see this, and I'm really interested to see if once you open those doors or if you go through the front door.
Well, it seems like looking at the picture of this facade that there's a walkway path that goes right up to that main door.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to see if once you go through those doors, if you see the foyer with the big staircase and all of that. It'll be just really interesting to see how they do this as a whole. One detail that we find super interesting is that the house actually won't follow the show's specific timeline or any of the show's characters. Now, if you haven't watched the show, first of all, go watch it. It's really good. And second of all, the show actually follows multiple characters and multiple different timelines. So the present day and the past, which would be pretty hard to do in a haunted house.
So instead of following like the storyline that Haunting of Hill House takes you through, like following the main characters and all that, the character focus is actually going to be the house itself. So you're pretty much gonna walk through like you're experiencing what the house is and all of the ghosts that reside in it. Universal states that they're working directly with Netflix to make sure that this house is going to be as authentic as it can be to the show. They say they're going to have everything from the show included into the house, like the ghosts, which is like the tall man, the bent neck lady, and other specific scenes like the red room and that final scene at the end of the show.
Another interesting point that Universal made is that this house won't be like traditional HHN houses where you have jump scares right from the start. This house, much like the show, is going to build slowly and be a little bit more quiet in the beginning and then build up that tension until you get to the climax of the house where you have scares left and right. I personally am really excited for this because I honestly find it a little bit scarier to be in that moment where you kind of feel like maybe you're somewhere where you shouldn't be. And I think that that kind of like tension that builds up will be really scary and eerie and will just make for a really cool house.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that Universal is going to do something that's different than its normal formula. And just like Stephanie said, it is creepier when you go through a Halloween Horror Nights house with nothing really happening, just having an ominous feeling, but you know something's gonna happen and it just doesn't. I feel like that's something very unnatural for haunted houses at Horror Nights, where once you walk in, there's things consistently happening left and right. So I'm looking forward to see how they can pull this off in this year's event.
There will also be Easter eggs throughout the house, like the blueprints for Hill House, as well as hidden ghosts, just like you can see in the show.
Universal has already released merchandise for this house featuring the tall man and that famous iconic Universal Halloween Horror Nights logo, which right now they actually have it located at the 5 and Dime, available for anybody, but we do believe that as the event gets closer, they may go ahead and restock this because this is going to be one of those houses that people are going to love to see and they want the merchandise for.
So that does it for our Hill House announcement. We do still only have 2 houses confirmed so far, this one and Beetlejuice. So we do expect that they will be rolling out announcements very quickly, pretty soon, hopefully.
So that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, always a big thank you to our subscribers. We're getting very close to that goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers total on this channel, which blows our mind, but goodbye. Peace out, guys.